The Rat Pro X3 Supreme Edition is the tournament mouse that Catz has made that I have honestly been waiting for, and this has customization on another echelon. Good afternoon, welcome back to Turbo Tortoise Tech. My name is Wilkie Triple XL and I've finally been given the rat I've been looking for. This is the Pro X3, alright, so this one, critically, compared to the rest of the rats in the line, has a full plastic body shell. So it is considerably lighter than its other brethren, and this particular model is, well, overkill in all the right sort of ways. So primarily the shape is almost identical to the others. It is a little bit shorter than the Rat 8 plus Advanced, both of those. It's quite a bit shorter than that, but the package that it comes with is nothing short of extensive, let's put it that way. So I have actually repacked everything into this box to show you how cool it is. I mean, it's got a nice Rat Pro X3 on the front of it over there, to a Supreme Edition, in case you were wondering and you didn't want to wear, and it really is a Supreme Edition type of product. So obviously mouse itself comes in here, and then you get a flight type like carry case, hard shell carry case for you to be able to take your mouse around. And then inside of this carry case is actually the tool that lets you adjust and take off different pieces of the mouse, and then a little brush to keep everything clean. The OCD in me really likes that little brush, I must say. Then it has a foam insert, so it's actually in the shape of the mouse, so it'll fit in just like that. And you'll notice there's an extra gap on the side over here, which I'll get to in just a moment. But this fits in really nicely. You can then wind the cable around, tuck the last piece in there, and then stick it inside the case. So clearly they're trying to get into that tournament sort of space where you're moving your stuff around constantly. And to that end, they've also made it probably, I'd say, the most customizable mouse ever, because what the next piece of this package, well, that just holds the mouse in place right when you get it, but the piece underneath is a full set of swap out spares for the mouse. And then lastly, they do give you manual with some stickers and that sort of stuff, normal Catz literature, just quick start guide, etc, etc. But putting that aside, this is where things got particularly interesting. So this back piece, I actually found this one in particular to be the most comfortable. There is a really beefy outer piece, so this would fit on the outside over there like that, and then you've got an even thicker buoy setup, so it almost starts to look a bit like a fighter jet. Then you can swap out the thumb area as well, and then the buttons and everything are actually on this piece that then gets swapped out. And then the actual buttons that are being pressed, there's little prongs that stick out from this that then push into the mouse and then push those for you. 3 thumb buttons on this, which is a really nice touch, I must say. It is quite helpful when you're doing a lot of macros or stuff like Dota. Then you can have 3 of your item slots right at your thumb, and then you'll only need the other 3 to be on the keyboard. But you might not even need that, because this mouse, the customization doesn't just stop there. So 2 different sides, actually 3, because the outside right, you can also have this piece, which then this part sticks up, so your finger sort of slots in underneath that like that. But this was particularly, this setup was the most comfortable for me, which is great because it might differ for you. Then they do include 2 sets of extra feet as well, and these are magnetically removable, so if you just flip the mouse over, you can pull off this set and put on the alternate set if they are not tracking in the way that you want, or it's not giving you the feel that you're looking for. Wrong one. Explains a lot. And then it'll just pop into place just like that. There's no real major difference between the two. The surface is very, very similar between these 2 pieces. So I think that's more just for backup than anything else. But then we get to some of the more interesting ones. 3 different back pieces. These don't have quite the same system as the other mouse. They just literally pull straight off like so, and then click back into place like so. I must say this one in particular was the most comfortable feeling, and all of them are slightly different. I will say that these two, particularly this inside edge, is not the most comfortable I've ever felt, but I do have a particularly wide palm, so yeah, it's I do kind of tend to completely envelop mouses with this palm. But when it is in the right position in my palm for how I normally hold, this is the most comfortable I've been on one of the Rat mouses. And you'll notice with the feet and stuff, they're quite furry because I actually use it for quite a while. And then I saw these two little rings up top over here, and I was like, now what's that for? Turns out, hey, you want to change your scroll wheel, how that feels? Just push it up into a position, pull this guy off out the top here, and put on whichever one you want. So it ships with the silver ring. I put the rubberized one, words, onto this mount because it was the best feeling of the lot. And then they do give you a metallic-y, sort of more narrow version than the normal plastic silver one, which it comes, and then a rubberized one. So like I said, as far as customization goes, this is probably the best one for the physical customization of the product. Then we get to the software customization. Now the application itself is not the best looking I've ever seen, but it's got a lot of built-in functionality that you can just literally assign to whatever button on the mouse you want to do whatever task you variably can, and then you can record your own button inputs as well. The profiling is also ridiculously cool. I really like the indicator because it's very clear. There's actually 2 LEDs per level so that you can see the DPI indication very, very clearly. And then on the bottom, there is a switch for the profile, and I like that they've put the profile switch on the bottom because you're not going to bump it accidentally while you are gaming. It does happen where we bump DPI buttons and stuff in the heat of the moment, right? But the profiling being on the bottom keeps it out of danger, which is great. And then there are 9 different profiles that you can input into this mouse, which is ridiculous amounts of storage. Then you can set X and Y for your sensitivity, so your X sensitivity and your Y sensitivity you can program individually. This thing does 3000 Hertz polling rate, as if 2000 Hertz wasn't already smooth enough. If you look at graphs online with the polling rates, 1000 Hertz, even when you go in a circle, there will be some straight lines around the edges. 2000, it gets more cylindrical and smoother. 3000 is like, it's one for one, as one for one could be. They have put a really good 16,000 DPI PixArt sensor. It is the best optical sensor pretty much on the market at the moment. It's the 3389, which a lot of people are using in a lot of mouses for good reason, being as good as it is. And I really like the outset of this product from Rat because they've taken the areas that they're really strong and applied it to the tournament use case scenarios. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if someone particularly liked this shape if we saw a pro level sort of CS player playing with this product because of that customization and that layering and stuff that it has. Everything can be programmed onto the mouse, your color profile, all of that sort of stuff can be put onto the mouse, and you can take it out of box, and really nicely out of box as well. I mean, this cover, this case, usually you only get cases like this with a headphone or something to that effect, or some high-end audio equipment and that sort of stuff usually ships with hard shell cases like this. So they're trying to make something here that lasts and that you use continuously as your standard sort of product. Now the pricing for this is a little bit on the higher end. You're looking at about 2,500 Rand for this mouse, and it's not wireless or anything like that, which you normally see in that price bracket. But there's nothing in the price bracket that's as customizable as this mouse is, and that's where it has a nice edge, honestly, on a feature set. It's not going to be for everyone, which I think is an accurate statement to make, but if you're into Rat and you actually want something that can be competitive, this is probably going to be a good mouse for you. I'd say the overall weight, it's over 100 grams, definitely, just off the cusp of me just thinking about it. Actually, I haven't looked at the specific number. I'll flash it on the screen for you guys. But when I was using it and playing some CS and stuff, COD and FPS games, I often find with a heavier mouse, your ability to snap to targets is quite effective, but it just wasn't the case because of that now plastic chassis. And the overall build quality and finish of this mouse is quite impressive, I have to say. The fact you could swap out your scroll, you could swap out this whole button arrangement and stuff. This is the rat that I was looking for by far. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, then hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side. Because it's completely plastic, this chassis, it's not aluminium, so it doesn't weigh as much as a small Sun.